The most important thing in the game. Pick cards, what's the best to equip for PvE, PvP, hybrid, and what's the stats you should aim for. Let's go into that. Hello gang, welcome to the channel, and today we're gonna go through a video for the most important thing in the game, which is your card collection and your cards, what cards you have equipped right now. And this is the most important because affect all your account. Whatever you have equipped here is go through all your characters and every game mode. So it's the number one to go through and look the details and check out what you have compared to others, or how you should improve yourself and get your account in a better position. There are some stats that you want to aim for, and there are some things that combined with the stats you have on your characters, you need to calculate and have the perfect results and play the game into easy mode instead of struggling into a game that it's already really hard. But there are all these stats like skill cooldown and ignore defense and attack speed, these three that can give you a nightmare in the game if you don't manage to go through proper guides. So this is supposed to be a proper guide. And yes, before we go through that, guys, I want you to make sure that you are smashing the like button, subscribing to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know down below in the comments how your cards looks like, what you have picked, PvE, PvP, hybrid. We're gonna break down here the best sets to use after 1 year. I had the same video 1 year ago. There's not a lot of changes, but there are some info and some details that can make the huge difference into your account that you are perhaps forgetting or you didn't ever knew. And yes, I want to thank for this video my bros from Alliance, Slag and Dio. They made some infographics on our Discord. If you want to join, guys, in our Discord, they put down some suggestions for our Alliance members to build their card sets, and yeah, they inspired me to make this video. They give me some extra info and details about the best cards in the game, but also for the options, the bonus options, the crafting options, the combinations of the card. This is from Slag, the previous was from Dio. Thank you guys a lot for this, and I'm gonna break down to you all the info, because it's just numbers and things, and I know you struggle. I was struggling too. So let's go and figure out how the perfect sets looks like for all all players and all game modes. Let's start with making a tier list with the best options for everyone to pick, and then let's go and break down the stats you should pick and the stats you should reroll your cards to get for. As you can see, I'm having a kind of hybrid set right now. I'm working on it. I'm gonna share also the plans I have on my cards and the recent changes I did actually. So let's start with the tier list. And actually there are not a lot of cards in the game. There are there are exactly 20 cards. I have all of them here, and I'm gonna tell you which ones are the best to go for each set. We're gonna start with with the fact that there are a lot of sets that you can go through. There are a lot of options. There are not only 5 cards for PvE, there are not only 5 cards for PvP or 5 cards for hybrid. Hybrid actually means, combining cards. As you can see the categories here, in the start is the main PvE. That means the best for PvE, the one that you can't ignore and you can't actually pick. The second one is the optionals for PvE, are the ones that doesn't really matter which one you're gonna pick. All of them gonna give you the best results, and I'm gonna break down why that happens. Also same thing for main PvP and optionals PvP, hybrid, and the bottom is the trust, the cards that you actually only want to reroll and use them as a folder, material to go and burn down. So let's start from the PvE first, and the PvE sets the best to go for are these 3 cards. Used to be these 2, the number 1 and 2, but now after Ghost Rider he feels to be the number 1 card here. As you can see, he's the number one because these cards actually provides to you a proc, a 20% all attack, a 20% energy attack, and a 20% physical attack. So on this specifically 3 cards, you want to have only the stats that gives you the all attack, the energy attack, and the physical attack. Let me show you the example. As you can see, I have already equipped this card, and my Luna Snow has this proc here. This is the 20% energy attack you want to go for, this is the 20% basic attack that you're going to go for, and this is the 20% physical attack that you're going to go for. So these 3 have this use, you know, you're getting an extra proc like an ISO set or an extra skill, you know. It's a skill that gives you for 15 seconds 20% physical attack, energy attack, and all this stacks together. So if you have a character that uses physical attack, you're gonna get 40%. If you have a character uses energy attack, you're gonna get 40%. There are no characters that takes advantage of all of them in the same time. Each of them gets a buff depending if he use energy attack or all attack or physical attack as the main damage. After that, we have the optional PVE cards. The optional PVE cards means that they can give you the maximum, but in the same time, you have, you know, it's not like you must use these cards. You can use them or you can use some others. The best options to go if you want to form the number one, you know, PvE set are these 5 cards here. These 5 cards here there is one new card, which is the zombie card. Zombie card provides to you an extra 20% proc on HP, but in the same time gives you something unique, which is ignore dodge. Ignore dodge is unique because there is no other way to get it, either from character skills or CDPs. There's no ignore dodge on stats as crafted stats or generally on any other card in the game. So because of that, zombie considered as unique card for this specific reason, and ignore dodge is equal and better for all attack in ABX mode 100%, and World Boss Legend and ABL it's kind of same value as all attack, but for ABX specific 1% ignore dodge equals more than 1% all attack. It's like 1.2 compared, you know, 1% ignore dodge. If you get it, it's like you get 1.2 all attack, something equal to this. But you can figure out using characters that having ignore dodge lead like Bullseye compared to others for Hulk or any other combat villain day of ABX and ABL. So the thing that all these cards have in common, you know, the first one has the proc. Except the proc is the fact that they can give you 10% all attack as a main stat. A main stat is really important because it's a stat that is locked and cannot change. So as you can see here on the cards, there are some stats, the crafted stats we said, and these are the stats that are locked and cannot change. This orange stat. For Luna Snow, it's the biggest value on stats that you can see in the game. It's 11% energy attack and 11% all attack. That means you get an equal to 22% energy attack in total and 11% physical attack combined with the proc. The card does not have crafted stats that you want to aim for except the proc if you want to use the card for PvE. If you want to use the card for PvP, we are talking about max HP that you should pick here and all defense from here, but this is something to talk about later on. For Ghost Rider, he has exactly the same. He has 11% energy attack and 11% physical attack, so is equal to 11% all attack standard that you can't miss. From the other stats, you want to only all attack, the rest doesn't really matter except you're aiming for something specific like ground control for PvP or whatever. I'm picking critical rate here and I'm really cool with it. Same thing for Fox, gives you 10 or 11 if you have it 7 quality, all attack as guaranteed. So the first 3 cards have fixed 10% for PvE. So for PvE, that you want to aim for 100% is the crafted stats here of all attack and cards that have all attack here 10%. This is the main thing that you're aiming for. After that, you're gonna go for the basic cards, the main cards that gives you an extra proc of 20%. And after that, you wanna go for cards like I told you, the previous card that I told you, because they have all attack at fixed stats here on the orange. There are other stats here, but the main thing that you're aiming for PvE is this all attack here. You need to have 10, base all attack or energy attack combined with physical attack. These cards exist, as I told you, it's the cards that I saw you before. One example is here, the cable card. One example also is the crescent card here that can give you that, but C is mostly for PvP. I'm gonna explain later on why. And Spider-Man also is one option. So in this card, to get the maximum out of the cards, instead of just having this all attack and then go for a proc, because this card does not have a proc, you wanna go and aim for 5% and 6% physical attack. So if you get both physical attack and energy attack from the cards here, it's 5 to 6% depending. So you get in total 16 to 17% all attack. If you have energy attack and physical attack, it's like you have all attack. So 10% on the base stat, the orange, and on the crafted stats, you want to have these two, physical attack, energy attack. Of course, we're aiming for high quality, 5, 6, or 7, I guess. But the main thing is having physical attack and energy attack on the crafted stats here. The cards that gives you that opportunity is this one here, and generally all the cards that are here. It's 1, 2, 3, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, I forget Guardians of the Galaxy. Let me show you Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So Guardians of the Galaxy is exactly here also. So this all cards here gives you all attack equal to 15 to 16% depending on the quality. Only if you have, all of them have the 10% as a stat, as a fixed stat, and then you need to go and reroll until you have energy attack and physical attack, of course with a big quality, as I told you. The only difference is that the zombie card and the Avengers card are kind of unique and different. Actually, my bad, it's only the zombie card has exactly the same. I don't have the card yet, so yeah, I wasn't sure. You can get physical attack here or the proc for HP and energy attack. So potentially you can use the card with physical attack and energy attack, so it's exactly the same as the rest of the cards, the Spidey, the cable card and the Guardians of the Galaxy. And the unique other card is this one. This is the only card that gives you physical attack, energy attack, and all attack as fixed stats. So you have 16% at max, which is less than what you can get from the other cards if you craft the cards and have the rerolls at the same quality. As if you noticed before, the Spidey, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the other cards generally gives you 5 point something and 6% on physical attack and energy attack if you craft roll, actually if you roll the card and you get it in the bottom stats. The bottom stats are more than this, but the good part of this new Avengers, all different Avengers card is that the stats are fixed, so you only aim for the quality. If you get a 6 quality or a 7 quality, you don't need to reroll the card because you already have maxed the attack stats, that they are the stats that you need to have for a PvE set to get the maximum out of your account. So let me break it down one more time for you. You can have every card you see here. These three cards are the most important, which is Ghost Rider, Luna, and Fox, and then you can pick Black Panther, Cable, Spider-Man, all different Avengers, Zombie, or Guardians of the Galaxy, and set the best set for you. However, for PvE, as I told you, the only thing that matters and you need to go for is the all attack on the blue crafted stats and the stats I told you, energy attack, physical attack. These are the stats that gonna lead you to have the maximum attack on your account. But as I told you before, there are stats that are sneaky and you need to have them in order to play the game proper. Let me mention just these stats for everyone to understand what we're talking about. And yes, pretty much in the game you need to have 50% cooldown and skill and ignore defense, cooldown and ignore defense. You can see you get a bunch from your cards. You can have it on the crafted cards here, or you can get it as an extra option here in the bottom. You know, some cards gives you ignore defense, some other gives you other stats, but pretty much yeah, you can see on the Fox card there is ignore defense 10%. So you need to pay attention on the stats you have on your cards from the other things that are only attack. As I told you, attack is the most important for PvE, but you have to consider ignore defense and cooldown. You need an amount of 30% ignore defense on your cards, around 20%, around 30%. You can have 25 or 35 or something like this. I have a lot here and I don't need it. And I'm gonna go and show you some examples from my character. Attack speed, it's something you need like 20%. And also you need to consider that your characters are using their ISO set and they're using your swords to find some of these stats. So you need to count everything in your mind. But as a, you know, as a guide, let's say, for PvE, you need around 10 to 20% attack speed, critical rate, critical damage. Ignore defense, you need around 30%, and cooldown, you need 20 to 30. But all these stats can change because you can find them from other sources. Ignore defense specifically, you cannot find from a lot of sources. There are some options in uniform, but always others are the most important. So you need to pay attention on what you have on your card set, because if you go and stack your account in a specific stat, that makes no sense. It gives you no value. As you can see here, if you press this, you see all the stats you have. So you can see, because I have 50% ignore defense, my character, instead of having 50%, which is the one that I actually need, I end up having 26% extra. That means I have 76% ignore defense on my character. And I'm wasting the potentials of the character and on my account generally, because this 20% ignore defense would be something else from the stats I'm rerolling on my cards, but this is something to make your cards perfect. I'm just giving you here an example to understand why you're looking for skill cooldown and ignore defense. And the skill cooldown, you can see it on your character here. Ignore defense, you can see it on your character here. And attack speed, you can see on your character here. Attack speed makes your character cast the skills faster. Cooldown makes your character to have his skills ready faster. And you need always have this on 50% and this on 130 if you want to have the best out of your characters. Ignore defense, it's something that it's 50% really long time. So if you don't have this 50%, you're playing the game into hard mode, because the bosses and every aspect of the game feels harder only for you. So we talked about the PvE and what's important for PvE, what's the stat you should look for into your PvE cards. Let's check out the rest of the cards now. So for PvP, as we said before, for PvE you're looking for all attack as the main stat on the orange stats in your card. For PvP you're aiming for all HP, you know, for max HP. The cards that gives you max HP more is Wanda, is New Avengers 9, is Black Widow, Gwenpool, and of course Guardians of the Galaxy again. So you go through this and put here Guardians of the Galaxy card 2. So I'm saying main here, but it's not true. I don't feel like this is the main right now. I feel like the main PvP right now is these cards here. These three cards are the main PvP, and that's because, you know, the current meta in the game does not want you to go through full max HP. They equals, you know, they give equal to all HP, all defense and stat 2. So something to clarify here. The stats for PvP, the most important stats I told you it's max HP, but I was lying. The most important is all defense. Max HP, however, is everywhere in the P cards for PvP. There is max HP on New Avengers, there is max HP on Guardians of the Galaxy, on Wanda card, and the other card that have equal number as orange stat, but all defense and max HP, it's Crescent. So as I told you before, the ignore dodge is equal to 1.2 attack. Same thing for all defense. One all defense is equal to 1.2 max HP in most cases and most characters. There are some exceptions, but all defense seems to be the meta stat for PvP. So you wanna go into your cards when you craft your cards and pay attention on all attack as you want for PvE, but you have these two stats that they are not capable. The main thing on the stats, I'm telling you from the beginning of the video, and I should mention that before, is all attack, all defense, and max HP. And these three stats, ignore dodge also, but there is only one card having it. They are really important stats because they are stats that you cannot cap on these stats. So ignore defense, cooldown, critical, dodge, or whatever other stat, you're gonna find them through your options, through your other cards, or as optionals, and generally there are limit amount of them that you can get. And with all these swords, emblems, all these different buffs that you're getting here and there, you can cap your character real easy. As you saw, my characters are 20% overcapped on these stats. You don't really need to go and focus on these stats. You wanna focus on the stats that cannot cap. So for PvP, you're aiming for all attack blue, then you're going for all attack defense, all defense blue, and all. I'm not saying blue. All your cards should be blue crafted, by the way. All the others are trust. Only blue matters and pierce. And other than that, you're going all attack, all defense, and HP. There is also a fourth stat, really important, that it's really hard to cap, and called crown control time. Crown control time is a crafted option for most cases. You cannot find as main stat in the cards because considered as secondary stat, but helps a lot on PvP. Crown control time gives you the opportunity to avoid enemies' stuns, actually get stunned, and your stun get healed faster. So you have less time waiting into your enemy's debuffs. If your enemy paralyzes you for 5 seconds and you have like 50% crown control time, then it's 2.5%. It's 2.5 seconds that you have to wait paralyzed, or else you're gonna stay there for full duration. That's why these cards are the most important in my mind. This card here gives you all HP. That's why I use the card for hybrid purposes. So this is the best hybrid and PvP card in the game, and this is because the card gives you the opportunity to have the 20% proc of HP. As you can see here, you get max HP here, so it's really cool card. Does not help you with other stats, but you can manage to get all attack here. And this is the combo you want to have with this card. You're getting 5% instead of the 10 that you get from the other cards. It's 5.4%, so it's half from a PvE card, but in the same time gives you the opportunity to have an extra layer of defense, a 20% HP that can help you stay alive into the game. So this is for the New Avengers card. This card, you don't really, you can't avoid having these two stats, and you can have here anything else, doesn't really matter, or you can sacrifice some attack for some old defense, because as I told you, it's really important for the PvP, for your PvP, value in the game. The other card is Wanda, that I have the card also in my inventory. Wanda gives you the option to have again max HP, as I told you, as orange stat, but in the same time provide to you 20% physical attack. 20% physical attack feels like, you know, a PvE thing, but it's PvP also, because your characters are hitting the enemy and you want to have extra procs and extra attacks that give buffs for your attacks that can help you one-shot enemies, enable their immortalities or whatever. Here you should pick, you know, the all defense stat, because as I told you, this is one of the main PvP set cards. So Wanda is actually really good because it gives you the HP. So the 3 cards we went through, Guardians of the Galaxy and you know, Scarlet Witch, Wanda, and also New Avengers are all with max HP, and the other has max HP but smaller value, but in the same time has all defense up, which, as I told you, equals more than you know, the max HP. Here is the perfect combination. Actually, I hit physical defense or energy defense. It's equal here. You want to have something defensive. For other than that, you want to have something offensive. Energy or physical attack is the best, or crown control time, you know, depending, doesn't really matter. And here also you want to go for something like recovery, attack speed or whatever. This proc here, it's totally useless because, as I told you, you need to have fixed 50% on your characters, so the extra 20% actually does nothing. And the last card we took and I talked about was Zombie, which is also a really good card because it gives you max HP. So I would include this on the base set, you know, the base cards for PvP, with the proc here for HP instead of the physical attack, because the max HP helps you more generally. So the zombie card provides to you the max HP, the all attack. There are only 2 cards in the game gives you full amount of max HP and all attack, and one of them is the zombie card and the other is Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy does not provide the proc, this one provides the proc, but also as Guardians of the Galaxy gives you the all attack and physical attack. So for PvP you mostly want to go, as I told you, for the max HP here, etc, etc. So let's see the sets, how they formed right now. So for PvP cards, the main cards and the best cards actually that you want to go for are these. The point is that for PvP, you know, depending on the crafted stats that you have on the cards, perhaps you don't need one card, you don't want to have, let's say, you know, all Crescent. If you have a perfect rolled Luna, you know, you would go and replace it for Luna. The optionals PvP, they're falling behind from the other cards. Black Widow actually gives you a proc for energy attack, but no one is using here after the zombie. The zombie gives you the ignore dodge that is good for PvP too. So yeah, most of the people want to get this. And then you can replace any of these cards with other cards like the ones for PvE and having a better balance on your account. Then we have the hybrid set. The optionals for PvP are these 2, but I'm not really suggesting to you to go for them. I would go either for this main set or change one of these if you miss it with one of the PvE ones, because in my mind all attack, you know, with crafted max HP is better than having these cards generally. For the hybrid, the best set you can go and pick right now in the game, it's something close to this. And also you have to add, you're looking to find for yourself, you know, the maximum amount of procs for attack or max HP, and also get the maximum all attack and max HP, so your account gonna be, you know, durable with max HP but also hit hard and having both words. As I told you, the 2 best cards that provides you a flat number of all attack and a flat number for max HP is Zombie and Guardians. After that, New Avengers and Luna Snow card are the very next best things. New Avengers, because they gives you an extra HP proc. The HP proc is the only proc in the game that stacks, so you can get advantage of Zombie and HP. of new Avengers. That's why I told you here that, you know, for the main PvP set, zombie is really important too. So I add on the main PvP zombie card. So it's Guardian, Zombie, New Avengers that can give you a lot of max HP and the 2 HP procs. And in the same time, Luna Snow has the biggest value as a card from all other cards because it gives you the maximum amount of energy attack you can find into the game, and also a proc for energy attack. After that comes to you what you prefer. You prefer having Wanda with extra HP and you know, extra HP and an extra proc for physical attack, or White Fox for extra attack and the proc for physical attack, because you can't get a second energy attack like Black Widow. These two cannot be used in the same set because they give you the same physical attack buff and they don't stack like stacks for HP. So as I told you, the point is here to have the maximum amount of max HP and all attack. So if you don't want to use, you know, Ghost Rider, you can go for Crescent, or Crescent is actually really good for hybrid, or else Wanda. This is the hybrid, this is the PvP, and this is the main PvE with the optionals PvE, as I told you, and the rest are trusts. These cards can't be crafted and can't be included in your card set. For starters, just to find yourself some extra stats, and the main problem of this card are they don't have as orange stat, stable stat, either all attack or energy attack combined with physical attack, or max HP. You know, these are the stats that are not stats that you cannot cap. The rest of the stats can be capped. The Black Panther has actually physical attack, this has energy attack, and this has skill cooldown and something else. The others are also cool, but nothing close to the ones that I told you before. They don't have, you know, the combined of energy attack, physical attack in the bottom stats with the all attack in the top, or physical attack with a proc or something other useful in the game. This is my opinion on the card set, and these are the card set that you can find all over the top players into our game. Let me show you my plans and what I have right now, and from what I swap my cards into that. You have to consider that cards are the most important thing in the game, but in the same time is the hardest thing to upgrade in the game and the hardest thing to see an actual difference. I'm using a hybrid set here. As you can see, I'm focusing more in all attack instead of max HP. I have only 2 max HP cards. I would equip, you know, zombie card instead of Guardians or instead of this one, but at the moment I haven't the zombie card in my, you know, I don't have the zombie card, I don't own the card. I just took Ghost Rider and reroll it, equipped it, and even if I don't have the perfect stats, you know, for hybrid you're gonna aim for max HP. I don't have max HP, but because I took the all attack here, I equipped the card and I find it, you know, really cool on my set at the moment. I'm getting 20% all attack, 20% energy attack, 20% physical attack, and 20% HP. So I'm aiming for a lot of procs that gives me extra buffs during the fights. And also I have a big amount of all attack combined with energy attack and physical attack, but kind of a lot of max HP too, 59%. My set before was more into PvP and defensive. I had this card instead of Ghost Rider, which provides to you extra max HP, extra max HP and extra all defense, and I had rolled the max HP here, so it was a better PvP card for my account. But I swapped into Ghost Rider just to check out how the set is gonna work. My plans for the future is to make 2 different sets, one for PvE and one for PvP, and the options I'm going to equip, if I don't find the zombie card, I'm gonna equip Spider-Man and Cable card and replace the cards I have right now, New Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm gonna make a second card set where I'm going to equip New Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Crescent, Wanda, and another Luna Snow. So this is the PVE, you know, how I approach PvP is having a Luna too, because in my mind, you know, the amount of energy attack and all attack you're getting here, it's, you know, has no match in the game. Luna Snow, it's the best card in the game. So that was it, what I'm going to do, what's my plans. In my mind, do not bother having perfect cards, guys. I saw you which the perfect cards should look like for PvP and PvE. You can see here my bro has put a really nice example here for our cards. You know, you used to have max HP, crowd control, all defense, all attack, yes sir, but the main thing is having cards that you can cap, ignore defense, skill cooldown, and then aim for 25% pierce. Guys, 25% pierce is something capable also, so you can't go more than 25% pierce by any mean from your card set. So you want to have the 25% there, and then go and look for extra pierce from your team up collection or abilities of the characters, passive abilities, etc, etc. Some, you know, some ways that you can actually get extra pierce. That was it. I hope I helped you decide what you're gonna do with your cards, what cards you have right now, and what cards you should reroll to get the perfect rolls. Hit me down below in the comments if I missed something, if I forget something, sorry. It was a lot of info that I should go through, and yes, I hope I didn't F any of you, and everything is fine. So, hope you enjoyed. See you into the next. Kisses in your faces!